One of the saddest things to see on the news or even to see on social media is when it pops up that somebody has gone missing. And whenever there's a missing person, usually a few things happen. Usually officers go out and they have dogs with them and they're sniffing the ground and they're trying to find some kind of clue to see where that person could possibly be. They're also looking for the tracks to see if there's some path that maybe they took that they could follow. There's usually a helicopter that's up above that has a light shining down, trying to find some picture of life out there somewhere. But usually one of the things that also happens is that a search party comes together. And the search party can consist of family, friends, neighbors, random people that don't even know or haven't even met this person, yet they're interested in bringing that person back. But one of the things that I shared with you this past Sunday is the countless examples of times where people have gone after that person that's lost. But in the process, because they themselves weren't prepared and they also didn't know the territory where they were going, they themselves were lost too. One of the things that James mentions to us in James chapter 5, verses 19 and 20, is that God has called us to go after those that wander. That as we go after those that wander, we're actually taking part in something that is very near and dear to the heart and the character of who our God is. And when we bring that person back, there is much celebration and much rejoicing. We looked at that example in Luke chapter 15 of the woman that lost that one coin. And the effort, the money, the time she spent towards that coin was worth even more than the coin itself. But because the coin had an image on it, it was valuable. And what's amazing about that story is a story of how God prescribes value different than at times we do. That the things in life that we might see as dismissible, God sees as valuable, as needed. And so we looked at that text in Galatians 6, and we looked at the text in James 5, that God has called us to go after those that are lost. But how can we do it in a way that is not only helpful to them, but also not hurtful to us? So that's why we talked about Sunday, this difficult balance that God has called us to live, and that is to love people that are just like us, that at one time or another, we've all been unhealthy. To love unhealthy people without us ourselves getting sick. And so we looked at several ways, but one of the things that we highlighted was in Galatians 6:1, it says that those of us that are living by the Spirit, or those of us that are spiritual, are to do so in a way that is gentle. And so we looked at several ways that we can do this, and this is maybe to set up a boundary, to be careful as we go out, to yes, give that love, but the boundaries, those keep the good things in, but maybe at the same time, we'll keep those bad things out. And so as we talked about going after those that are wanderers, I mentioned two things to you. Number one, every single one of us are wanderers. And as Psalm 1 mentions, every single one of us have the capacity to wander. So as we go after that person, see that ourselves in that person, knowing that that love that we're going to give, it not only through Christ can cover a multitude of sins, but it can also point the path home. But the action step that I gave you is to think of a person, just one person that you know that has maybe wandered away from God, to reach out to them, give them a call, let them know that you love them, check on them and see what they're up to, and see how we can all work together maybe to bring them back home. I love you guys. I hope y'all have a great week and look forward to seeing you on Wednesday night.